I think just playing good baseball, no matter who we're playing, was important. And we played two quality opponents from New England, two of the best teams in New England, and we're able to play much better baseball. That's all I was really looking for. I mean, truly, if we had played good baseball and lost, I could live with that. We weren't playing Husky baseball. Last week was shaky at times, and then the weekend was shaky at times. Our energy was not where it needed to be, and I felt like the last 2 days got us back. Going in the right direction. And, so hopefully I have a really good work day tomorrow with a good lift and a good practice. And then we're back at it with Mason Fioli on the mound on Friday against the Memphis Tigers, a much improved Memphis Tigers team.
Do you think that playing against these local teams brings out more energy in that the guys have maybe played against other opponents in AAU or high school ball or any other regional ball?
I'd like to think the energy's the same no matter who we're playing against. That's something that we can control. Our attitude, our concentration, and our effort. It shouldn't matter what jersey's in the other dugout. So you hope that it's consistent no matter who we're playing, no matter where or what time. But it's. I don't know. I don't know if seeing familiar faces makes a difference. It should be the same. It should be all out, 100 miles an hour, 100% with everything that we're doing with our attitude, concentration, and effort.
Top four in the lineup are all hitting above 300. What does that mean for the offense as a whole?
Well, it's a good way to, it means that I got it right, I guess. The top four are the right guys. I mean, they've been giving us quality at bats. They're our most consistent guys. New Sereno has been a nice addition. You're able to slide him in there. It gives us a little bit more length to the lineup. You're able to move Chris down a little bit. And Christian Fedko's in a great, clutch RBI spot, which is where you want a guy with some swagger and belief in himself. We hopefully didn't lose Tope. He left mid-game just to get a fluoroscope on the left humerus, I guess is where it was, where he got hit, and I think it just went numb. He had that same thing happen last year, and he was back pretty quickly. So hopefully it just irritated a nerve and he'll be okay. But we had to get him out because he couldn't hit. But yeah, those first four have been very good. First five have been excellent for me anyway. Christian Fedko's included in that group. I mean, he's a great offensive player. You look at the walks and his on-base percentage, how much he's improved as a hitter. He's so much more of a complete hitter this year than he was last year. So we've got some nice pieces there. Now we need some other guys to kind of come along. David Langer's shown some nice flashes, adding something to the bottom half of the lineup. Pat Winkle can be a real force, a nice surprise down there for some other teams. He's not a surprise to us, but he can really do damage down there too.
It's got to be good to see Connor getting some good swings on the ball.
Yeah, Connor had a really good day today. And I thought his best swing was his last one. Dead center field. He doesn't do that an awful lot. He saw a guy that could give him fits. He kind of likes those sidearm guys or submarine guys, and he squared up a ball really well. And he's been working hard with Coach Oregon and limiting the leg kick and trying to simplify things with his swing. He wasn't getting much from the leg kick anyway, and it was just kind of creating more problems than it was solving. So he's toned that down, and I really like what I'm seeing. Much more balanced approach. Chiaviti has also, we didn't see the results today, but he's been working a lot and made some real progress in practice. So we were trying to get him in there anyway. We were debating about starting him today and finding a way to get him a start, but we didn't want to take David Langer out. We wanted Christian to play, and we wanted Connor Moriarty to play too. So in some ways it was fortunate we were able to get him in. We just hope that it's not for, we hope that we have Tope back quickly.
And with Christian, he already has more walks this season than I think anyone did last year. Just could you just kind of take us through what he did to go from, I think it was 4 walks last year, to now being the best on the team at that?
He probably sees, we're so limited by the NCAA and what we can do with the players, but Coach Oregon takes that to the nth degree. I mean, he is working with them as much as possible, and he does a great job. He and Christian have an awesome relationship. They work really hard together. Christian really processes information, and he's he takes coaching. He's a talented guy, but he takes coaching. He knows his swing because he probably practices it more than just about anybody else. He sees more batting practice pitches than anybody else. He's always working in the cage. So although we can't work with them all the time, we know when the light's on in the barn, it's probably Christian and Kyler, two brothers going at it. Maybe the Winkles might join in. Paul Gazzo's in there a lot. There's a lot of guys in there a lot. but nobody's in there more than Christian Fedko. So I think that has a lot to do with it. You practice something over and over again, you're going to get an idea as to what the strike zone is. So credit to him and his work ethic, with his offensive game, with his batting, with his hitting game. We need him to work just as hard at his defense and his athleticism, and then we're going to have a really complete player.
You talked a lot over the weekend of Cincinnati being the looser, more energetic team, and then the dugout today, it seemed like the guys were having a lot more fun. Did you notice a change in the dugout today?
Yeah, it's a chicken and the egg phenomenon. When you're ahead and when guys are getting 2 out RBIs, it's easy to be energetic. When we're having pop-ups and punch-outs and strikeouts looking with runners on second and third, it's really hard for the dugout to be enthusiastic. So, it's funny because even when I was playing, guys would come back in the dugout ticked off at the bench for being dead, and the bench is ticked off that they're not in the lineup and nobody's driving anybody in. But when things are happening like they did today, and in the second half of yesterday's game, after the third inning or so, it's easy to be enthusiastic. It's easy to have a lively dugout, but we need the dugout and the energy on the field to be positive all the time. It just makes it a lot more difficult when guys aren't having good at bats with runners in scoring position. So that was definitely, we made some progress with that this week. And the only thing to do, you can't practice that in a barn. You can't practice that in batting practice. You need to do it in games, and the guys did it very well in the last 2 games.
Colby seemed to have a better day than he did last time out. What'd you see from him?
Yeah, he's kind of, he puzzles me, I'll be honest. I mean, his ball moves so darn much, and sometimes when he starts that fastball away to righties, it can drift back over the plate, and he gets hit harder than you think he should. And I think that happened a couple times today. His breaking ball, even when it's up, if he's really throwing it, and not just trying to flip it in there for a called strike. If he's really throwing it, it breaks so late that it's very hard to square. And you see that. I mean, he had 5 strikeouts. It's just when he gives up contact, it's harder than it probably should be. So I think the only cure for that is to continue to get him back out there. He went far enough today. We needed to see some other guys. We wanted to learn some things, and we wanted to get Jake Sanderson out there in a tighter situation just to see what we had. And now he understands what we mean when we say, hey, it's different, when it's a closer ball game. So we were able to kind of dodge a bullet. He wasn't who he can be, but next time he'll be better. And for that experience. And Chase Gardner got into some trouble of his own making, but then got himself out of it. So there was good progress. But Colby, I thought Colby was good. I thought he did his job today. We didn't need him to go more than he did. He wanted to go more, which is great. I hope he's not happy coming out of the game there. But it was he was coming out more for what we had in the pen, what we needed to learn with that type of game and that type of lead, knowing that we had a full tank with Dan Deneau, a full tank with Worcester, a full tank with Wallace. We were able to kind of play around a little bit and try to learn some things.
You mentioned how you seen more. They looked more like UConn baseball out there the past couple of days. How does that translate into a tough weekend series with Memphis?
Well, you just hope that it continue. It takes right where we left off today. You hope that you can continue that on Friday. I think what we learned is last weekend is if your ace gets hit, and it was one hit really, but it was a big one. We can't go into a corner. We can't cower in a corner. We got to come right back out and hit back, and not be scared by that. And I don't want to say we're scared, but we're more tentative than we should be. So you have, if Mason happens to give up a 2-run double, it's not the end of the world. He's going to get the next guy, or he's going to get the guy after that. So we have to learn from that and not be on our heels. We need to, especially on this field, we need to protect our home turf. I'm really looking forward to having 3 games. As awesome as it is to play at Dunkin' Donuts, we don't have to get on a bus until we go to UMass on Tuesday. So that's a nice feeling. It's the first time that we're going to have three weekend games here at JOC this year, and hopefully we'll make them count.
Jacob Wallace is a .41 ERA. How much confidence does that give you as a manager, knowing that you can throw him in there and just lock it down?
Yeah, hey, there's no sure things in our game, but he's as close as they get, and it's easy to take him for granted, and I never will. I mean, he's got a special arm, a special talent. He's a special guy too. I mean, my 11-year-old's in the dugout, and Jake's one of the nicest guys in the world to him. You know, he's Charlie's favorite guy. You know, and he just has a great way about him. But when he gets on that mound, it's all business. And guys are turning around in the dugout and they're taunting the baseball gods a little bit by shaking hands before the last out and saying, "Okay, well that was fun tonight," and you can't do that. But the point of that story is that's how he makes your teammates feel. You know, the game is over. When Jake's on the mound, the game is over. As long as he doesn't feel like that and he's concentrating, that's really what matters. But it's awesome that our team has that much confidence in him. Our coaching staff has that much confidence in him. Our fans have that much confidence in him. And he finally has that level of confidence. A year ago, he didn't quite have that. So he's made really significant strides in his development, and he's worked so hard for everything he gets. So he's a very easy guy to root for. It's you got a good guy off the field and a great competitor on the field.